Hello everyone, Master Zach here. It's finally December. You all know what that means. That's right, it's time to argue about which video game was better than all the others. Today, I'll be looking at all of the Game Awards nominations for this year and determining which ones I believe should win, but also which ones I believe are most likely to win. So without further ado, let's just jump right in. So first up on our list is the best esports team. Personally, I do not follow esports that much, so I can't say who I believe is going to win or who I believe should win. So this whole category is kind of a blur for me. Best esports host, again, I have no idea who these people are, so I have no idea if, this person has a slightly higher chance of winning than this guy, or she has the best chance of winning out of all of them. I have no clue. So I'm not going to weigh any opinions just based on their looks, because honestly, anything could go. Alright, best esports game. This is the first one where the path starts to differentiate a little bit. Who I believe should win, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but I believe the best esports game of 2020 was Fortnite. Now, I know a lot of people will probably disagree with me, but hear me out, look past all the Fortnite bad stuff. Fortnite is a game that constantly gets updated by Epic Games. I believe recently they just had this big Marvel crossover event. I keep getting stuff in my recommended about it, so yeah, I could be mistaken, but I feel like they have the best community support out of all of these. I mean, League of Legends also gave a bunch of things to its community recently. I believe few new characters were released or something like that. Now, I believe who will win is a different story. I believe for the community vote, they will not vote Fortnite because, a lot of people still hold the Fortnite bad mentality. So I believe for best esports game, probably either Call of Duty or League of Legends has a high chance of winning. But I still do believe that Fortnite does stand a pretty solid chance, and I also think that Fortnite deserves to win this year. For best esports event, again, I don't really watch esports that much, so I don't really know. I did catch up on a few things for rewards for the League of Legends World Championship. So that, I believe, has a high chance of winning. That was pretty hype. But I can't really weigh any votes because I haven't seen all these, so I honestly couldn't tell you. Same thing with best esports coach. I have never seen any of these people in my life, nor will I probably in the near future, so... yeah, same with esports athletes. I don't know these people. They've got some pretty cool names, though. I like that. But, other than that. Alright, best debut game. Honestly, I have not played any of these games, so I can't say who I want to win. They all, from these, little things, they all look pretty cool. Mortal Shell looks pretty nice. For which game I believe will win, though, is probably Phasmophobia. This game has recently blown up with the whole, live streaming community. I've seen a lot of people streaming it, and I feel like it blew up at just the right time for it to actually win this by popular vote. Because a lot of people are going to see this, and still see it in their recommended, and be like, yes, I gotta vote for that. This Phasmophobia definitely has the highest chance out of all of these games. Content Creator of the Year. Personally... again, I have no idea who most of these people is. I've seen, some of their faces before, but I can't judge their character based on their face alone, so I'm not going to. Best Multiplayer. Alright, I believe for Best Multiplayer, even though it didn't release this year, Among Us definitely deserves Best Multiplayer. I mean... Among Us went, even if it released 2 years ago, that doesn't matter. It was the best multiplayer game this year, hands down. I don't care what, I don't care if it released in 2018. Look at how many people were actively playing Among Us at the same time. Discord's lifetime downloads skyrocketed after Among Us started getting traction. The amount of Twitch views, YouTube views, all these live streams we're getting on Among Us, it's out of this world, literally. So, honestly, even if it didn't release, I feel like Among Us should win, and I also feel like Among Us will win in this category. All of these other games, they're good multiplayer. I wouldn't really consider Animal Crossing like a core multiplayer. I believe it's both multiplayer and single player. Fall Guys, of course, that is multiplayer. Same with Call of Duty, I believe. And Valorant, of course, is mostly multiplayer. But overall, I believe Among Us definitely should win this category. It is the multiplayer game of the year. Alright, next category. The best sports family game, I definitely believe Animal Crossing wins in both my who I think should win and who I think will win category. If you take into consideration that Animal Crossing, unlike some of these other games, can be played with the entire family. It's not just family as in, oh, this is fun for the whole family because it's appropriate. It's the entire family can play it. Unlike a few of these other games, like Paper Mario is single player, Crash Bandicoot is single player. Although you could make the argument that yes, Minecraft Dungeons is multiplayer, but I feel like Animal Crossing appeals to the whole family as well. Like anyone from the family can pick up Animal Crossing. Your brother, sister, younger siblings, older siblings, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, nephews, nieces, cousins, anyone. Anyone can pick up Animal Crossing. Moving on to best fighting game. Again, I've never played any of these games, so I can't really weigh any judgment. I've never really heard stuff about most of these games. Like, I've seen a few Mortal Kombat ads, but that's about it. Street Fighter V also released, 5 years ago, I think. I don't know. I mean, if you guys have a problem with Among Us releasing 2 years ago, how about we talk about Street Fighter is for best fighting? That's a pretty old game. I feel like if that deserves to be here, Among Us definitely deserves to be here. Again, I've never played any of these games. Haven't really heard stuff about this, so I'm going to skip on this category. For best role-playing game, who I think will win is going to be Genshin Impact. Who I think should win is also going to be Genshin Impact. This is because I personally enjoy the game. It's fun. I pour a little too much time into it, get all my resin down to 0. But I also believe that so many other people have poured so much time and or money into the game that it's definitely deserving to be on this list. It's amassed a huge fan base, and I believe it definitely, stands a chance against some of these other competitors. I believe Persona 5 Royale, Persona 5 is a cool game. I've never actually played it, but, that might be a second or third. Final Fantasy VII is being nominated for Game of the Year, so it also probably stands a decent chance. I haven't seen anything about either of these two games, so I can't weigh in any comments. But I definitely believe Genshin Impact stands a really high chance of winning the Best Role-Playing Game award this year. Moving on to the next section, Best Action and Adventure. Surprisingly enough, I have never played any of these games, so I can't weigh in my personal experience. But I definitely believe, judging by all the people who have said things about social media about all these games, I think that this will go to either Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man, or The Last of Us Part 2. That's because these all have very big fan bases behind them, and I believe that everything else will kind of be drowned out, so it definitely goes to one of these three for which will win. For Best Action and Adventure, I, again, surprise, surprise, have never played any of these games, so I can't weigh in my personal experiences, so I don't know who should win. Who I believe will win is Doom Eternal. Now, both Doom Eternal and Hades have been nominated for the Game of the Year, but I feel like Hades is just the token, oh, it's the indie game. No offense to Hades, the game looks amazing, but I definitely believe Doom Eternal wins Best Action category, hands down. I mean, I've never seen this game or this game. I've seen a little bit of Half-Life Alyx, but not that much. Now, for Best Innovation and Accessibility, again, surprising no one, I've never played any of these games, but I believe that The Last of Us Part 2 will win just because it's been nominated for the Game of the Year awards, and it seems kind of weird that something else would beat something that's nominated for the Best Game of the Year. So The Last of Us probably wins this category. For Best VR/AR, never played any of these games. I believe Half-Life Alyx probably has a high chance of winning, because that was one of the first VR games, in my opinion, that showed people what a VR game could really be. Marvel's Iron Man VR was very underwhelming from what I've seen from it, but also The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners is, from what I've seen from like streams and things like that, seems to be a highly entertaining game, so I definitely believe that it's tied between Half-Life Alyx and The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners for who will probably win. For best community support, I believe that Fortnite should win. Again, I'm not part of the Fortnite bad community, and I believe that what Epic Games is doing with Fortnite to keep it fresh and to keep it alive, I believe definitely wins the community support award. I also believe Apex Legends does stand a solid chance as well, because they just released a new season, I believe, or something like that. I've seen like new gravity-based character, I think. I don't really know. That could be like a mod or something. Again, I don't really follow a lot of these games, but I definitely believe Fortnite does stand a pretty high chance. Fall Guys, could win as well, but I feel like the hype for Fall Guys kind of was in a really short burst, and it kind of has died out. It again is not a dead game. I'm not going to call Fall Guys a dead game, but the hype has died down a little bit. So I do believe it's between Fortnite and probably Apex Legends. For best mobile game, this is a tough one. This can go either way. It either goes to Among Us or Genshin Impact. Personally, I believe that Among Us changed so much more about like society during the pandemic than Genshin Impact. So for me, my vote would have to go for Among Us. But then again, if we look at just base core gameplay, Genshin Impact is a much more polished and perfected game than Among Us. Not to say that it's without bugs or anything like that, but just compare the two graphically, and there's a huge contrast. But if we look at how each game has impacted society, I definitely say my vote has to go to Among Us, but it can go either way. And honestly, all the other 3 games in this list, they have no chance of winning, if I'm being honest. Call of Duty Mobile, I haven't even heard about until now. Legends of Runeterra, I've seen a few things on it. It could maybe get like a low 3. And Pokemon Cafe Mix doesn't deserve to be here. Like, Pokemon's cool and all, but no. For Best Indie Game of the Year, I believe this probably goes to Hades. Yet again, I have never played any of these games. I probably should now that they've been nominated. But if Hades has a shot at winning Game of the Year, then it's gotta be the best indie game. So, again, I'm probably not going to vote on any of these, but I feel like Hades will probably win. We'll see, though. Someone could beg to differ. 90% of a game's chance of winning is decided by the judges, so we'll see. But I definitely believe Hades has the highest chance of winning on this list. Maybe followed by Fall Guys as a close second. For Best Ongoing Game, you know what I'm going to pick. I've used this as a point. Fortnite, again. Look at all the stuff they're doing with Avengers and cool things like that. Again, I don't play Fortnite, but I definitely believe it doesn't deserve all of the hate it gets. And I believe that it is a good game. Other than that, the only things on this list that I see really standing a chance would probably be Apex Legends and No Man's Sky, because I've seen a lot of stuff about No Man's Sky recently, and I feel like there's been some sort of massive update to the game that I'm like missing out on. But honestly, I believe Fortnite should win. Fortnite probably will win, but maybe it gets followed by Apex Legends or No Man's Sky. Who knows? For Games for Impact, I haven't heard of any of these games besides Spiritfarer, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. So I can't say what I believe is the best game here, or even what will win. Spiritfarer looks cool, but I haven't seen any of these other games, so I'm just going to skip this category for now. For Best Performance, again, they're probably all really, really good at voice acting or motion capture and all of this, but I've never played any of the games they're from, so I can't give my opinion. It's probably going to be either Ellie, Abby, or Jin. I'm not even going to bother pronouncing the last name because you know how bad I am with pronunciation. But it's going to be one of these 3 just because their games have been nominated for the best game of the year, so they definitely have the biggest chance out of all of these 5 to win. So yeah. These three probably have the highest chance of winning. Who knows? It could be Hades. It could be Miles Morales, but probably these three. But you know, the Game Awards likes to surprise us. You saw what happened with last year's Game Awards. It was very surprising. Moving on to Best Audio Design, I believe, again, since I haven't played any of these games, it goes to Doom Eternal, Ghost of Tsushima, or Last of Us Part 2 because they've been nominated. Moving on, for Best Score in Music, again, I haven't played any of these games, so I can't really... No, I've listened to the Doom Eternal soundtrack, and that is good. So I definitely say what I think should win is Doom Eternal for Best Score in Music. Then again, you know, I haven't heard these. Maybe they've got some of the best songs, like, in the history of existence in them, but since I haven't heard their soundtrack, I'm gonna go with the one that I have heard that sounds really good, and that's Doom Eternal. For Best Art Direction, again, can't vote on these, although I do believe, in my personal opinion, the whole, like, characters looking... Oh, we're trying to get everyone looking more and more like a human, but in like 5 years it's going to look aged poorly. I believe all of these games will probably suffer from that. Like, look at a game from like 2 years ago that makes human characters, and there's always just something off about it. So in my opinion, games with unrealistic art look a lot better than games with hyper-realistic art. So in my opinion, this goes for me to either Hades or Ori, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And I'm not going to vote because, you know, I've never played them. For Best Narrative, again, never played any of these games. Probably not going to be 13 Sentinels because I've never even heard of that before. So it's probably going to be one of these four. Next, Best Game Direction. Again, I don't know. You tell me. We're going to see when the Game Awards happens on December 10th at 3:30 p.m. PST, I believe. I might be mistaken. But yeah, I'm probably going to stream as well, but I don't know. You tell me. And for Game of the Year, this is the final one. This is for all the marbles. Who should win the Game of the Year? I personally believe that the most deserving game for Game of the Year is Animal Crossing New Horizons. Not because the game at its core is the best, but what Animal Crossing did for society as we struggled through a pandemic. It allowed us to slowly wade in to the monotony of this quarantine in a way that we might not have made it this far without Animal Crossing. And I'm being dead serious when I say that. Like, Animal Crossing helped make this pandemic easier. And for that reason alone, I think Animal Crossing deserves Game of the Year awards. Now, of course, many people will not agree with me on that. Many people will look at not the society aspect of it, and will look at just the core gameplay. And in that regard, Animal Crossing, you kind of do the same thing every single day, kind of gets repetitive. So I believe that if we look at just the gameplay, Animal Crossing probably won't win. But if we look at the impact it has had on society as a whole, Animal Crossing deserves Game of the Year. Now, for who I believe will win the Game of the Year awards, I believe the vote is tied between Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us Part 2, solely because both communities seem to be, like, trying to, like, I don't know the correct term for it, but they seem the most active in trying to, like, win. Like, every post the Game Awards official Twitter makes, there's always a comment under it that's like, Ghost of Tsushima for the win. And then underneath that are a bunch of replies. It's like, no, Last of Us. Or someone's like, Last of Us for the win. And then a ton of people like, no, Ghost of Tsushima. And I feel like both of them are kind of like at a... I don't know what to call it, but I guess I would say at a war with each other. Like Last of Us Part 2 versus Ghost of Tsushima. So I believe, honestly, it's kind of between those two, whoever wins in that regard. I feel like a lot of people on like both sides of that are like trying to like win to own the other one, and it's kind of strange. Honestly, I believe a lot of people like both of those games. Like, you wouldn't want this game to win if you didn't like it. And I believe both of those games are also deserving of the Game of the Year awards. All of these 5 games that have been nominated for the Game of the Year awards deserve this spot. There is not one game on this list that I believe doesn't deserve to be here. Doom Eternal, Phenomenal game. Never played it. One of these days I might. Probably not on stream because that's a little too gory for, my audience. But, Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's a game that's been years in the making. And I feel like a lot of people really appreciated that it finally came out and appreciated that they could play one of their favorite Final Fantasy games in such high detail and high quality. Ghost of Tsushima. I've never played it. I actually haven't researched that much into it, to be honest. But it seems like a really good game from what I've seen. Great action game. Hades, again, haven't seen much. Its art style blew me away when I first saw the trailers for it. I believe that was one of the Epic Games announcements or something like that, and I first saw that game and I was like, wow, that looks like a nice game. And I'm glad that it is nominated for basically the best indie game in the world, because it's the token indie game that gets shown off at every Game of the Year awards. Kind of like with Celeste in 2018's Game of the Year awards. You knew Celeste was probably not going to win, but hey, it won Best Score. So I feel like something similar is going to happen with Hades. It's not going to win Game of the Year awards, but it wins Best Art Direction or something like that. And I believe Last of Us Part 2 is also a sequel that's been long in the works to a game that a lot of people like. I've never played either. I should probably play one of them. I can't really say that much about it, but it seems like it also is a pretty good game. Definitely deserving to be in the top 5 games of the year. But in my opinion, Animal Crossing definitely takes that. Not just as a Nintendo fan, but as someone who has directly been affected by this. This helped me get into the monotony of daily life during the pandemic. If it wasn't for Animal Crossing, I'd probably be off a little bit differently. I'm not going to say I'm going to be fully crazy, but it definitely helped me ease into the thing. It's kind of like wading into a pool before you enter it. Instead of cannonballing directly in and having to deal with the cold, we were able to slowly let our bodies adjust. I don't know where that analogy is going, but yeah, that's my list for who I think is going to win Game of the Year awards, and who I think should win awards from the Game of the Year awards. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and hopefully you have a good rest of your day and or night, and I'll hopefully see you all when I live stream the Game of the Year awards on December 10th. Hope to see you all there, and have a great rest of your day. Bye!